Hello, friend of karmic affinity. There is a great paradox of life that we often overlook. When you stop trying to control everything, the flow of life truly begins to move. Anxiety is like an invisible cage woven by shadows. It imprisons you in terrifying scripts of a future that has never existed, draining your energy and preventing good things from entering. Try to stop for a second. Take a deep breath and ask your heart what you are hopelessly trying to control right at this moment. Today, join me through 7 lessons of wisdom to learn how to open that cage. Not through force, but through a gentle letting go, allowing life to find its way back to its inherent balance. Lesson 1. Fear is a seed. We begin with the first lesson to understand the mechanism of consciousness. Fear is a seed. Imagine your mind as a fertile piece of land. That land is very fair. It does not judge whether the seed you sow is a fragrant flower or a poisonous weed. You are the gardener, and each of your thoughts is a seed. When you worry about losing your job or fear a broken relationship, you are unintentionally sowing the seed of fear. And when you spend time thinking about it every day, you are watering it. According to the laws of nature, a seed that is cared for will sprout and grow. The danger is that as fear grows, it dominates your behavior. Because you fear losing your job, you become stressed, timid, and prone to mistakes. Because you fear your lover leaving, you become controlling, jealous, and suffocating. It is these very actions, stemming from fear, that unintentionally create the exact outcome you fear most. Remember, it is not fate that is against you. It is the fear operating within you. Instead of sowing seeds of fear, actively sow seeds of trust and peace. When you change the seeds in your mind, the garden of your life outside will automatically change. Lesson 2. True strength is surrender. Following the recognition of seeds, the second lesson will help you redefine your own courage. True strength is surrender. We often mistakenly believe that being strong means holding tight, struggling, and straining to bend everything to our will. But look at the image of water to understand the wisdom of softness. Imagine you are trying to hold water in your palm. If you use muscular strength to squeeze your hand into a fist for fear of the water leaking away, the water will slip through the gaps in your fingers and escape entirely. The more force you use, the more you lose everything. But if you relax and gently open your palm to receive, the water will stay, still and complete. Surrender is that open palm. Try applying this to the smallest situations in your day. When you send an important message and see no reply for a long time, or when a planned schedule is suddenly delayed at the last minute. The clinging reflex of the mind will make you restless, pushy, and annoyed. But if you choose to open your hand, you accept that silence, that delay, as a natural part of the flow. Surrender is absolutely not weakness or giving up. It is the expression of a great wisdom that knows how to respect the rhythms of nature. When you dare to let go of the need to control results, you do not lose power. On the contrary, you reclaim all the energy that was wasted on useless stress. You become calmer, clearer, and steadier than ever. Remember, a clenched hand cannot receive anything more. Only an open hand can receive the whole world. Lesson 3. And shitty only lives in the future. Tense. The third lesson brings us back to our true home. Anxiety never exists in the present moment. Try to observe closely, right now, right here. Is there any problem actually happening? You are sitting, breathing, and your heart is beating rhythmically. Everything is fine. Anxiety only appears when your mind leaves its present home to project into a future tense that does not yet exist. It paints tragic movies of what might happen and risks that might strike. Awareness, or mindfulness, is simply the act of pulling the mind back to reunite with the body. When you are complete with this breath, with this step, anxiety no longer has a place to dwell. It is like darkness which cannot exist when the light is turned on. The present always whispers peace, while the future screams fears. Use the present as your safest refuge. Whenever a storm of anxiety rises, anchor yourself to the breath. Inhaling, I know I am here. Exhaling, I smile at life. With just one conscious breath, you have severed the link to the ghosts of the future. As long as you are breathing, it means life is still supporting you, and you are absolutely safe in this moment. Lesson 4. Imagined fears. If the previous lesson helped you recognize the illusion of time, this fourth lesson will help us expose the subtle deception regarding the content of the mind. Most of the fears haunting you are merely products of the imagination. My dear friend, the human mind is like a brilliant tragic novelist working without rest. It has the ability to weave the most thrilling disaster stories from tiny data points. You send an important message and see no reply. The mind immediately writes a story that the other person hates or looks down on you. You hear bad economic news. The mind immediately paints a vision of you losing everything and falling into poverty. Those scripts are so vivid and terrifying that your body reacts as if they were the truth, making your heart race and your limbs tremble. But right now, I invite you to stop for a beat. Take a deep breath into your chest and exhale very slowly. We need a moment of stillness to see through this fog. The truth is, we are spending our whole lives fighting ghosts created by ourselves. A psychological study shows that over 90% of the things we worry about will never come true. We are paying exorbitant interest on debts of suffering that we have never even borrowed. You've been fighting shadows, not substance. Whenever a storm of worry hits, stop and ask yourself a reflective question. Is this actually happening right before my eyes? Or is it just a thought in my head? When you distinguish between what is reality and what is an illusion painted by the mind, the 1,000-pound burden on your shoulders will automatically fall away. Remember clearly that thoughts are not facts. Do not let the invisible ghosts of the mind rob you of your true joy of living right now.
상상해 보세요. 당신은 지금 거친 파도가 배 밑바닥을 끊임없이 두드리는 아르테미시온 해안의 한복판, 아테네 3단 노선의 좁고 습한 선실 안에 앉아 있습니다. 당신의 코끝에는 바다의 짠내와 함께 전체를 구성하는 소나무의 진한 송진향, 그리고 수백 명의 노자비가 뿜어내는 뜨거운 열기와 땀 냄새가 뒤섞여 있습니다. 당신의 손에는 이제 날카로운 창 대신 매끄럽게 달아버린 긴 노의 손잡이가 쥐어져 있습니다. 노를 저을 때마다 느껴지는 바다의 묵직한 저항은 마치 거대한 괴물과 팔씨름을 하는 듯한 중량감을 전달합니다. 당신은 지금 육지의 전사들이 헤르모필레의 좁은 길목에서 인간 성벽을 쌓는 동안 바다 위에서 제국의 숨통을 조이기 위해 거친 파도와 싸우고 있습니다. 시각화해 보세요. 수평선 너머로 끝도 없이 밀려오는 페르시아의 거대한 함대와 그들을 맞이하기 위해 좁은 해협에 닫혀내린 그리스 연합함대의 위태로운 대치를 말이죠. 이 해상 전장의 분위기를 단번에 바꾼 촉매제는 인간의 의지가 아닌 자연의 무자비한 변덕이었습니다. 크세리크세스의 함대가 그리스 해안을 따라 남하할 때 예상치 못한 강력한 폭풍이 에우보이아 해안을 덮쳤습니다. 여기서 우리가 주목해야 할 독특하고 세밀한 역사적 디테일이 있습니다. 페르시아 함대 중 약 1억 척의 전함이 그리스군을 포위하기 위해 에우보이아 섬을 돌아가려다 에우보이아의 구멍이라 불리는 험난한 남초지대에서 폭풍을 만나 단 한 척도 남지 않고 침몰했다는 사실입니다. 오늘날 우리가 중요한 파일을 전송하다가 갑작스러운 서버 오류로 모든 데이터가 유실되는 황망함을 느끼는 것과 비슷하지만 제국에게 그것은 수천 명
Lesson 6. Letting go is growth. The sixth lesson is a gentle reminder of maturity. Anxiety makes you shrink, while letting go helps you expand. Do you notice that when afraid, our bodies and minds tend to huddle together? We build thick defensive walls. We fear change, and we avoid new opportunities. We shrink our voices, shrink our hearts, and accept a stale life within a narrow comfort zone. We mistakenly believe that worrying is a way to protect ourselves. But actually, worry doesn't protect, it restricts. But life is inherently a great river that is always moving and reaching out to the ocean. Imagine you were a small stream of water. If that stream is afraid and only wants to keep itself in a safe, stagnant pond, it will soon become depleted and lose its life. But when the water dares to let itself go, merging into the great flow, accepting the rapids, it will be taken to the vast and majestic ocean. Letting go of old fears and controlling habits is the only path for your soul to grow. Each time you let go of a worry, the capacity of your heart expands a bit more. You become more tolerant, more courageous, and more vivid. Do not let fear define the size of your life. Let letting go take you to the new, vast horizons where you deserve to belong. Lesson 7. When you step aside, life will flow. And this is the final lesson. The most beautiful lesson on the art of living, stepping aside. My dear friend, there's a great truth that we often spend our whole lives to realize. When you stop interfering violently through fear, life will begin to operate in its most perfect way. We often crown ourselves as the ones steering the boat of fate. But actually, the excessive interference of anxiety is often the biggest obstacle clogging the natural flow. Imagine your life as a clear stream flowing downstream. Every anxiety, every calculation for control of yours, is like throwing a boulder into that stream. One stone is fine, but day after day, you throw down thousands of stones of fear and doubt. The flow is blocked. The water becomes muddy and chaotic. Your task now is not to jump into the water to try to push the flow faster, but to stop throwing stones into the river. When you step aside, no longer acting as an obstacle, the water will automatically become clear again and flow peacefully toward the ocean. To feel this subtle letting go more clearly, imagine a beautiful butterfly in the garden. If you see the butterfly and rush to catch it, trying to hold that beauty in your hand, the butterfly will fly away in terror, or its fragile wings will be damaged by your violence. Your interference has ruined that moment. But if you choose differently, you sit still, quiet, merging with nature, and gently open your palm. The butterfly might feel the safety and find its way to land on your shoulder or hand. Happiness is exactly like that butterfly. The more you chase it, the further it flees. The more still you are, the more it finds its way back. Stepping aside does not mean irresponsibility or giving up on life. It means you shift your position. You shift from the position of someone trying to bend reality to their will to the position of an observer and companion. You do what needs to be done, sow the seeds that need to be sown, and then step back to let the universe do its part. In relationships, step aside so your loved ones can be themselves. Do not force them into your template of happiness. In work, step aside so the results can take shape after you have put in your best effort. In your inner self, step aside so negative emotions can come and go on their own without being held by you. Remember, you were not born to control the ocean. You are here to learn how to ride the waves. When you stop playing the God in charge of the universe, you will return to being a free human. You will see every knot gradually untie in a miraculous way that the limited human mind cannot calculate in advance. Trust, breathe lightly, and step aside so that life may flow through you. My dear friend, we have traveled together through the full journey of the 7 wisdom lessons to learn how to loosen our tightly clenched hands. I hope that by now, you have realized that this life is not a fierce battlefield for you to fight and scramble in every day. Life is also not a difficult math problem, forcing you to exhaust your strength and stress out to find the right or wrong answer. Life is actually a piece of music, a great dance of the universe. Your task is not to try to conduct that orchestra, but to listen, feel, and harmonize your steps with that melody. When you stop interfering with fear, stop trying to bend reality, the fog of anxiety will vanish, and you will see everything become clear and strangely light. Keep caring deeply about life. Keep loving devotedly. But please do not strain yourself to carry the whole world on your small shoulders. Letting go of control is not indifference, but the highest way for you to cherish the arrangements of fate and find true peace. If the sharing in this video has brought you a bit of warmth, relief, or a new perspective, please help me spread this wholesome energy further. Your like is a great spiritual encouragement. A channel subscription is a promise to walk together persistently on the path of awakening. And before leaving, leave a comment below this video with the words, "I choose to trust the flow," to anchor this intention. Wishing you always enough courage to let go, and enough faith to be supported by the flow of life. Goodbye, and see you in the next videos. Would you like me to create a short daily meditation script based on Lesson 7 to help you practice stepping aside every morning?